Wednesday in Cummings, Georgia, and we're kind of in the area. We went to pick up the gray car from RK, and then I had to stop by Proline. So obviously, since I was in the area, you're not very far from those guys.
Nope, about 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes or so. Ron and the guys here at Vengeance have been working on my Cadillac. We did a video on this before, kind of showing some of the install stuff of the blower and the fuel system, and honestly, we just ran out of time. America's List started, let's see, MPK started, and this car was just sitting, and I never saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So I called up Ron and said, hey, I don't think I'm going to have time to finish my own car. If I send it to you, could you guys, get to it in a reasonably timely manner? And they did. So today, I've heard from you the last week or so. You kind of been filling me in that it was getting close. Yeah. So today I'm going to drive it and check it out. But I thought while I was here, you guys know I like to try to give you guys tours of the cool places that I go to. And, Ron and I have been talking for the last year, and these guys do awesome work. They have a really cool place. And I just want you guys to see it. And if you're in the area, you can come by and see these guys. And if you need work done to your car or whatever, this is a place that I highly recommend. So that being said, anything you want us to see?
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a typical walkthrough of the shop. I'll show you what we're all about.
Yeah.
We're not your normal performance shop.
Right.
We try to cater to our client and give them the whole experience, not just build their car. And as I walk you through, I'll highlight on this stuff, but we take photos of the builds in progress. We give daily updates to our customers. We have schedules that we stick to with delivery time frames.
Yep.
So we try to provide an experience along with the performance.
Sure.
And as you walk through the shop, you'll see that it's a little bit different than what you're probably used to seeing.
Well, obviously on my end, you hit some stuff that I just remembered. So I can't remember how long you've had this, and it doesn't matter. Let's say 6 months. I can't remember. I don't know. You might know exactly what it was. But what my point of this is, along the way, you're very informative on telling me what stage it was, and updating me with pictures. And honestly, I've never had that. Now, I don't usually, we do a lot of the same stuff that y'all do back at home. Mm-hmm. And for me to jump out and let somebody work on my car is a big deal. So obviously that means I trust you guys wholeheartedly, right? So that being said, you guys taught me some stuff that I should do in my business that you guys do, and that's pure honesty. So professionalism here always goes a long way with me, and you guys have got a pretty well-oiled machine. So I appreciate just keeping me up to date on this thing along the way, and the pictures were awesome. So many times you go have stuff worked on and you don't know what stage it's in, you don't know what parts have been put on it, and you wake up one day and you just go, man, I wonder how they're doing, or whatever the case is. And I know because people do it to me. They'll call and go, hey man, you haven't sent me any pictures. But what you guys are doing is sending updates before people ask. That's got to go a long way.
It keeps them happy, keeps them excited.
Right. They don't have to wonder too.
Yeah. Well, I like it. You don't get to see what's inside your engine a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of customers don't even know what the parts they're buying are in the street car market. So this validates that we're installing those items. You get to see them going on your car. You get to understand the process a little bit more. And you wake up, you go check your inbox, and there's pictures in there of your car getting worked on. So it's exciting.
It was awesome. And that email that you sent my stuff to, Cherish gets. And so she would go, hey, Vengeance sent you something today or whatever. And honestly, I figured it was an updated invoice or whatever it was. And the first time we clicked, I was like, hey, there's pictures in here. This is great, So, that being said, we didn't really talk about the build on this very much, which I guess we could do at any point in time here. But, what did it make it for horsepower?
I think we did right at 1,100 wheel.
Yeah, 1,100 tires. And the dyno graph you sent me, I think to be exact, was 1,099 of the tires.
Yeah, I think so.
So this will be a daily driver for me. You guys have seen it on some daily driver episodes, and you'll see it on some more. When they got a hold of it, I had already put a 416 in it, with ported heads and things like that, and they got a hold of it and helped me with the blower and the fuel system. We ended up using an Aeromotive hat and triple pumps and an Edelbrock 2650, and in my opinion, you guys didn't really lean on it to get 1,100 horsepower out of it.
No, I didn't want to push on it at all. It's a street car, first and foremost. Yes. So we're moderate on boost. The tune-up's moderate. It should just be a fun, reliable car. That's
what I'm afterwards. I mean, and I drove it. I snuck in here yesterday and drove it a little bit, and it drives no different than it was. It still made 750 before, so it was pretty decent before, but it doesn't drive any different. It doesn't sound any different. It doesn't have, it's not like a couple of my buddies. My buddy Mike back at home, and he's had a ZR1 and things like that. He's like, "So you happy with the Cadillac?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And he said, "Man, I bet it's rowdy now, right?" And I'm like, "Man, it's no different than it was. The only difference is it makes 400 more horsepower than it did."
Well,
so
that's a little bit different than your world. In our world, they got to run and drive and perform and be enjoyable.
Yeah, right.
Our customer wants to take his wife out to dinner on Friday night and then get into a street race on the interstate on the way home.
Exactly right. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
right. Yeah.
A little bit different.
Yeah. So, I haven't even seen this. Will be the first time I've been here a couple times, but I'm always in and out. I don't have a lot of time. But today we're going to take the time for you to show me around. I've never even got to see it either.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
So,
come on in. We'll walk
whatever
through.
you want to show me.
Yeah. All right, man. So this is our lobby reception area.
Yeah.
We try to have a place for people to hang out, be comfortable, watch TV. We got a bunch of our videos up from over the years of cars performing and stuff.
Of cars, huh?
Keep you entertained. We've got Regina, aka CTSV Chick. She's the face and voice of
How are you?
Vengenance Racing.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Regina's the one that sends all the daily updates.
Oh yeah,
So
cool. I was just bragging about that.
Oh, you never replied to my email.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We were talking about that, but that's one of the things that I think we were just talking about this that helps you guys stand out. That's cool that
Okay.
a customer can see updates on pictures and all that type of stuff. So
She literally walks the shop every day.
Yeah.
Goes out and gets updates from all the technicians and comes in and understands the terminology. She's a racer
That's
too.
funny. Yeah.
She's got an 8-second CTSV.
yeah, I know this.
So yeah, she's out there. She gets the terminology and she communicates with the customers a whole lot. She does a lot of the scheduling and appointment reminders and all that. So she's kind of a do-all for us up front, if you will.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I can tell you, I'm sorry that I didn't respond, but I loved that personally, and I guarantee that everybody did. So it's cool. I stay pretty busy, but it's good that like at midnight or something I can. And honestly, you were sending it to my wife, but she sends me that and says, "Hey, look, they updated your pictures today," and I love it. So
Oh, good.
I appreciate that very much.
So I need to get a different email address if I'm sending invoices to the wife.
To be honest with you, that's the stuff. That's the way I'll get taken care of.
Okay.
To be honest, and so that's probably why I gave you that, because Sheila will stay on me to go, hey, and she, so it was pretty safe. You could have CC'd me in it too, but
I have a few people that are like, don't let the wife see it.
no, I'm the other way around. She knows where it's been, so.
So Matthew, you're picking up parts. Okay.
So we have 5 offices in the building now. This is Genevieve. She's our office manager.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Straight with all the financials of the company as we grow. Our tuning department on site, and then I've got a purchasing officer and a sales department on the other side.
Cool.
So merch on site. Definitely not Ryan Martin level merch, but we sell a few t-shirts.
That's good. I'm sure you guys have a good following. Your social media stuff looks good. So
We try to stay out there.
yeah.
So.
There's like I peeked here and there, and I just see cars over here, cars over there.
So this is, we don't really show this off a lot, but I'll walk you through it.
Yep.
This is our front suite. Basically outside of the cage is just storage.
Yep.
You've been to late model engines.
Yep.
We use them for all of their engine services. So if a guy comes in and we're pulling a short block to send out and using his block and crank or something like that, the car sits up here, it's inside storage, it's untouched, kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it. And then while the car's apart, we put everything on the warehouse shelving, and it's safe. It's not just thrown in the shop somewhere, getting pushed in and out every day.
That way you can use that spot to work on other stuff.
Correct.
And their stuff is over here waiting on a motor.
Yep.
We did a similar thing when we were in. Right now we're in Norman, Oklahoma, but we were in Oklahoma City. I had a big warehouse that was very cheap rent, and I think it was 8,000 foot or something. But there was a lot of cars that you'd pull a motor out, set it off somewhere, and the car would just sit. So if it would sit on the lift, you couldn't work.
Yep.
So you move it over here to a storage area, and some people didn't exactly understand that, but
well, it keeps it inside. It keeps it safe.
It's right. I mean, for Oklahoma, and I know you guys get it too. Hail, thunderstorms, tornadoes. And honestly, if you haven't looked, and but if people haven't looked at inside storage, it's extremely expensive.
Yes.
So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So for you to offer, that's pretty cool.
Well, these guys, they're not Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
But Corvettes and these late model vehicles that we work on.
There are Lamborghinis.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You're right. They're not. They don't cost $400,000 or $500,000. But but to me, my CTSV is literally probably my favorite car that I own.
Yeah.
Not the most expensive car in the world, but there's not another car I'd rather drive.
Yeah. I love the Gen 3V.
Yeah.
such a fun, classy car to be in. Comfortable, wife, kids.
Still take a car seat in the back if you want, because I have one back there.
But then you hit the pedal and it's like a ZR1 instantly. I
Yeah.
love them. I love them. So this is our cage.
Yep.
To your left, we've got basically the way our company works is you come in, we do a build together, do a consultation. Once we decide on everything, we take a deposit and we actually order all of your product and have it here on the shelf prior to your scheduled appointment.
Okay.
So every one of these cubes is somebody's car. We're like 12, 14 weeks out right now.
Yep.
So when you show up, if it takes 2 weeks to build it, all the parts are here. We're able to turn that around in that time frame, tune it, and give it back to you. There's no, hey, I'm waiting on this or I'm waiting on that.
Yeah.
That's another one of the perks of what we do. You know, if there's a backlog, but it's, you know what it's like to drop a car off with somebody and then you call them 3 months later and they're like, oh, I'm waiting on this.
Oh, yeah.
Never should have dropped it off.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, so, and being in the business this long, I had many customers that would try to force that on you, right? Their car's broken, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They don't want it sitting in the driveway, so they would try to bring it to you no matter what. And puts you in a bad spot every now and then.
It does.
You know, so, but, you know, because it makes you look like you're holding their car hostage, when in actuality, if you will just get all their parts in, you can just knock it out and send it out the door.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's, in this business, I feel like it's the only way to make people happy, even though sometimes they don't know that.
yeah, it's safer in their garage than it is in a shop. I mean, we're lucky to have this space up front, but that space is limited.
It's very limited. I see. It looks like you got about 8 cars over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about, and you can't fit one more. So
And even still,
yeah,
if the car is here, we're holding it hostage. They're calling and checking
For
on
sure.
it when they know we haven't done anything with it. So.
Right. Even though Regina probably updates very well, if they haven't heard from you that there's progress going and their car's sitting up here, it still leaves something in their mind that that their car should be worked on. So I think I try to do that myself too, but I think that the only right way to do it is to wait till you get all the parts. Now, what does that say for parts right now? Because I know parts are hard to get.
Parts are hard, man. Parts are real hard. We're fortunate to carry, on average, we're 12 to 16 weeks out.
Yeah.
I can get most anything within that time frame.
Yeah.
Superchargers are definitely on a 12-week window. So we literally, when we close a build, it goes to our purchasing officer and he orders the parts that day. Sometimes before the money hits the account, we've got stuff on order with manufacturers and we give them our drop dead dates. And we're lucky, I guess, that we do enough volume with some of these guys that, not that we get pushed to the front, but they do everything they can to meet our deadlines.
For sure.
Because we run such a structured schedule. So we try to keep a lot of stuff in stock too. If you look over on the other side of the cage here, we've got ported blowers, ported heads, our billet valve covers, all the big stuff that we use on a routine basis. We just keep in stock so we can go grab it off the shelf.
You have gotten me out of several jams.
So
Remember some of those things I've called you for? I needed a set of head studs I couldn't find that we were trying to put a LT motor back together, and you were able to get them for me. I don't remember if you had them or you just got them, but either way, that was big. So, yeah, if you guys need parts, these are good guys to call too, because they've been in the business so long. They either have it in stock or have a good relationship with somebody to get it to you.
Yeah, definitely. So come on through, man. We'll hit the small engine room and go out to the shop. So we've actually cut our engine room in half to build another office up front there. But we don't do a lot of engine assembly in-house, so we didn't really need all the space. We got a couple of examples of stuff going on down here. This is an LSR 400-inch low-lash solid roller deal from LME. It's going in a C6 ZR1 for a local customer. Another couple of LME short blocks. Looks like a Gen 5 LT and another LS over there. My son, we built a 69, we're building a 69 Camaro together. So he's got a forged LS7 from LME with Brodix heads, big cam and all that. We're going to do an NA setup on him.
Cool.
And then Ned's spare V10 that we'll be getting upfitted soon with some new goodies so we can keep him on the racetrack. So, but not a lot going on in here.
But this is where any assembly goes on?
Yeah, if we do have a drop-in rod and piston assembly for the Gen 5 stuff. A lot of times a guy will come in with a low mileage car. He wants to make a significant amount more horsepower than the stock rotating assembly can accommodate. So we'll bring the engine in here, clean it, flash on it, and we can do our drop-in rods and pistons in-house, make 1,000 horsepower without sending it out for machining and all that stuff. So, but yeah, anything that we do gets done in here and stays clean and organized.
Cool. This must be where all the work goes on.
So yeah, this is the main production shop. I keep 5 technicians in here. We've got 7 lifts, and we stay pretty full. Again, we stay scheduled very methodically. If we're doing heads cam on a 6th Gen ZL1, we know it's 32 hours.
Yep.
We allot 40 hours for the build and a week for the tune. We turn that around in 2 weeks, give the guy's car back. Now something like yours, we kind of worked in, did some stuff like that after hours, but which is why it was difficult to work in sometimes because you're scheduled.
And I know I told you I was that customer who said, hey, I'm going out of town. I need to take you this car right now.
Yeah.
You weren't ready for it. I know that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't complaining. So, the great thing about me, I'm not just sitting here waiting on you to give me this car back. I have so much other stuff that we're doing. That it's, we're racing No Prep Kings or America's List or the OG show or whatever. So I have so much stuff to do. This is out of sight, out of mind for me. So you did me a favor taking it on.
Yeah.
Even though we just preached how that's not the right way to do that.
It still happens. So, we try to limit stuff in the production shop to like 1,000 horse and under. People, we promote a lot of the bigger builds that we do, obviously, because that's what people want to see.
Yep.
But I've got a 5th Gen Camaro right here, just literally getting a clutch job and an oil change.
Yep.
I've got a 4th Gen TA over there that we did a 427 stroker in it with a built trans and a few other things last year. And he's back in. We're putting a tubular K-frame in it with a 0-speed twin turbo system. So kind of doing phase 2 of that build.
It's a good looking car.
Yeah, pretty neat car. We don't see many 4th gens these days.
I know. It seems like they've kind of, like 5th Gen, 6th Gen, CTSV.
Yeah. That's
kind of taken over. Corvettes, of course. C6s even, I think, have kind of started to fall
Faded
off.
a little, yeah.
That's my favorite car is probably C6.
So, yep. C6 ZR1 to be specific.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Got a really cool, speaking of 4th gens, I happen to have 2 of them in the building at the same time.
Yeah,
so
right.
If people say that we don't work on them or we don't like them anymore, they don't know what you're talking about.
This is a wild bodies.
So this is 93 TA. This is an LT car.
Oh, okay.
We converted it. It's a local customer, road race setup.
Yeah.
It's a 468-inch solid roller LS, made right at 800 to the tire.
Wow.
It's got a Samsonite sequential trans in it, and it's got a independent rear suspension under it.
Cool.
So, big brakes, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
The purple inlet you see there, we're actually in process of fabricating a LS style induction for the dual throttle bodies.
Yeah.
So this is just a rapid prototype, and then we'll design like an air box for the dual throttle bodies off here.
So I see spacer plates.
Yep.
Is this like an adapter plate to that cylinder head?
Well, this is a tall deck block.
Okay.
And Brian's intakes don't have tall deck provision, so we got the spacer plate on there for that.
Okay.
But really cool car. I mean, 800 wheel
it's
and
clean,
a 3,000 horse car or 3,000 pound car is going to be a lot of fun.
Do not start it.
Are we not allowed to start? Oh, no alternator, right?
No alternator.
Yeah. The DC power alternator lasted about 3 pulls on the dyno to 9,000 RPM before it sent me back for a rebuild.
Yeah, right. What kind of power does this thing make?
I did 800 to the tire.
Naturally aspirated?
Naturally aspirated.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty healthy little setup from Brian.
It makes a good motor.
They do.
Yeah.
They definitely do. So, a couple more small things. The ZL1 is actually a pretty neat car. It's a Magnuson 2650 blower. It's got a Noonan billet block
I was
in
getting
it.
ready to ask if that's the one that LME did the
Yeah.
Noonan motor for, yeah.
Yeah. He ran 840 at 164 on the stock LT4 block with rods pistons, obviously.
Sure.
Put a 10 rib drive on it and wound up cracking a sleeve on the LT4 block. So we put a Noonan block in it, and he's in here. We're buttoning it up now and getting it ready for a track outing. Cool. But we're about 115 pounds lighter and 300 horsepower up, so it should do something.
Yeah.
So
that thing might go 7s.
I think if the 10-speed trans in it stays together, I think it will. Derek Downey, local guy's been racing with us for a year. He half miles, he roll races, he quarter miles. It's one of the first Gen 2 Vs in the country to get the new Magnuson 2650 LSA blower set up. C6 ZR1, pretty big build here. Going heads cam, all the bolt-ons, ported blower, trunk tank, the whole 9 yards. Looks like the blower actually just showed up. Joe's getting ready to set it in the car.
That's pretty. That's like it's in really good shape.
This is actually owned by Steven Sanders. and he goes by the Colonel on all the forums.
Yeah.
But he's been on all the LS forums, like back in the ls1.com days, big time. So it was pretty cool that he reached out to us and wanted to build a car with us.
Right.
So 2 of them actually. He's got another ZR1 coming in after we finish this one. So pretty neat.
Good looking ride.
Yeah, should be fun. Should make, you know, hopefully 900 wheel and be a nice driver. So
these things with 900 horsepower are not like those with 900 horsepower.
No, it's a different world.
It's a different world because they weigh 1,000 pounds less, and I mean, roughly whatever the numbers are. But
yep, they work really well.
Right.
The yellow car is a mutual friend, you know, Wes Buck.
Yep.
That's his old C6 Z06. A local gentleman has bought it. We put a fresh LSX 427 in it, RPM drivetrain front to back, and just buttoning it up now, and should have it on the street running hopefully by the end of the day.
Cool.
And then whose wide body kit is this, Alex?
Super bad.
Super Vets. This car got shipped into us. I'm not sure where it's from, but he did heads, cam, blower, brake kit, suspension, and all that. And it just came out of that Super Vets place, getting the wide body conversion.
Yeah.
So everything's exaggerated on it and flared out.
Sure.
So we've got everything off the car so that we don't hurt anything. Side exit
I was
exhaust.
getting ready to say, what's this about?
Yeah, side exit. He's got the traditional Corvette exhaust, but then they did cutouts and come over here and exited the side with the Super Vet rockers.
Okay.
So pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the production shop, man. Like I said, 5 techs, 7 lifts.
So this is your 9 to 5 daily stuff, production shop in and out, schedule, blah, blah. But I see there's another shop over there with cars.
So there's a little bit more entertainment over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got what we call our race shop.
Okay.
Still not quite in your world, but it's where if you come in here and you get bit by the bug, you go to the track a few times, and next thing you know, things are spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
You get moved over there.
Oh.
Custom ECUs, fabrication, raced a lot, stuff like that lands next door.
Okay.
So come on over.
Makes sense. Pretty. That's the one you and your son are building?
No, that's actually at the body shop getting the front end fitted and
Okay.
everything. This is actually a local magistrate judge who's become a great friend and a very valuable customer. We've built probably a dozen cars for him.
Wow.
He just picked this thing up. Guy out west going through a divorce and had a stock LS7 in it, so he brought it to us so we could do heads cam on it, build the transmission and do a few other upgrades for him. But really nice car.
Red interior. Red interior always gets me.
Yeah.
I love red interior. Good thing got big wheel tubs in it?
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big brakes, Detroit speed, front and rear.
Cool.
Neat car for sure.
Yeah.
So apparently it was in Battle of the Builders, SEMA 2017, I think. So it was, you know, it's a couple of year old build, but it was one of the top echelons at that point. So this is our shop car. This has been with us since 08, 09.
Yeah.
It was originally an atomic orange C6Z street car. Built it for a client up in Peoria, Illinois, I believe it was, and did a 457-inch twin turbo deal.
Is this the car that I was sitting next to at PRI?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we took it to PRI this year and displayed it for the first time. We are 99.9% ready to go race it. So we showed it off this year and kind of paid back all the people that are involved with the build itself that have stepped up and helped us with it and made it into what it is today.
So kind of like the Vengeance flagship race car.
Yeah, yeah. We raced it with the original build for several years. Customer actually took up aviation, so I bought the car from him and decided to continue to campaign it. We took it apart to do a little bit of safety. Safety turned into a full chassis, back half, 4-lane, 9 yards.
Yeah.
And then
it's a real serious build. Looks good.
Yeah, Jay, our shop foreman.
Yeah.
I basically turned him loose and told him, I said, look, Jay, I want you to build the best of what you can build to represent us, to go out and do what we do. So it's Noonan billet, dry block and heads, precision XPR 91s, aeromotive fuel system, Holley ECU, RPM lockup 400, 9-inch JSE Racing Fabrication did all the chassis work for us out of Pennsylvania. So should be a fun car. I'd like to put it in the 3s and the 8th, and then we're actually going to go out and try to half mile it as well.
Yeah.
So
cool. That's awesome. Right.
The 5th gen is kind of what I was just talking about with graduating to the race shop. This is it's an LS3 416, nothing crazy on the engine. Small twin turbo shelf kit, but he came in and wanted to do a Holley ECU for the fail safes and put a Samsonite sequential in it.
Cool.
So it's over here getting the Dominator. The Samsonite is already installed, and he's progressing more towards that. I don't really drive it much, I just race it type scenario.
Yeah.
So it makes 1200 wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I have Jay, because I don't know where all those go.
I was looking at all this going, man, somebody's wiring away.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
All the good stuff.
I see something weird over there, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't really fit. It's kind of like one of those things, which one of these things does not belong?
Yeah, this one stands out more than most.
Yeah.
2021 GT500. Local customer again. Joey Dyer has built probably half a dozen cars with me, if not more.
Yeah.
Last year, we decided that we've built LS cars and kind of dominated that industry since '06 and wanted to branch out a little bit. So we've started doing more Fords and Mopars.
Cool. So you guys are trying to not just be an LSLT shop. You're trying to branch out and do, I say trying, but you're doing it obviously.
Yeah, we're a little bit selective on what we're taking in.
Yep.
You know, we're not open to the public as far as just bring me whatever Mustang you got and we'll work on it. So we're trying to be selective and do packages on them so that we know that we can deliver above their expectations.
Right.
This car is an example. This morning, I think we're right on par with all the big name Ford shops out there. We've got a cold air, a ported blower, and a set of headers. And on the E85, we made 936 wheel horsepower.
Oh yeah.
So not bad for a couple of bolt-ons on the E85.
No, that's cool. I haven't really got to see one of these up for. I mean, look, a lot of people think that I'm just a Chevy guy and that's all there is to it, but I got a couple Fords and these are nice looking cars. I haven't really seen one of these up close and personal, but the interior is nice. That's just a nice car.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
We built another one a few months ago, and I was actually out on the street doing final QC on it and getting some data logs. And they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They're quality, but they work. It's one of those cars that the torque versus the amount of power it makes, the car works really, really well. They're extremely quick cars. So hugely popular in what they do. So, and then
that's cool. So, chassis dyno.
Yeah, we have a chassis dyno in house, and we also have a
hub dyno.
Hub dyno as well. Went DynoCon. Wanted the U.S. based support. Had great luck with it so far. We've made 3,100 horsepower on it with Ned's Viper. Hoping to make a little bit more than that with this with our shop car, but it allows us to track tune cars, so to speak, for long distance customers.
For sure.
You know, we can launch off the brake, go through the gears, look at shift points, limiters, and things like that.
It's the closest thing to being able to simulate a run at the racetrack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for my street strip guys, you know, if we build a 900 horse C7Z and ship it to Idaho, having not track tested, it's not good for either one of us.
It's a very good tool. For everybody that doesn't know what a hub dyno does, and he kind of explained it, I'll try to kind of break it down a little better, is it lets you simulate a pass, whether it be on the street, whether it be at the track, whatever it is. You can grab your trans brake button if it's got a trans brake, stick it to the floor, put it on the two-step, let go of the button, and go through the gears all in the dyno. In the past, before these came out, and you knowing about tuning and things like that, it was hard sometimes to be able to load a car on the street to tune it for the same at the racetrack.
Absolutely.
This will allow you to do that.
Well, I think the biggest thing both of us missed
Yeah.
is the definition of a hub dyno, and it was taking off the wheels and tires and physically bolting it to the hubs of the vehicle so that there's no tire spin and you can properly load the vehicle.
That's right. So, again, for people that are not familiar, a chassis dyno gets strapped down on the rollers. So the rear tires sit down on the rollers, and and you just make a pass and it rolls. So this is different. You take the rear wheels off the car. This bolts directly to the rotor or whatever. Yeah. And so these things, like the ones I've seen, these things will slide. So like you'll back your car up in here, and these things will slide in and bolt directly. So there's no drivetrain, there's no loss whatsoever. So there's drivetrain loss still, but there's no loss from the tire to the roller. This should, I mean, another thing I think this would be good for, and we don't need to do this either, but if you dyno a motor, let's say it's a big carbureted 598-inch Chevy big block, makes 900 on the engine dyno. You can roll this here, make a pull. It'll tell you what horsepower it makes, and it tells you exactly what the parasitic drivetrain loss is for sure. Because there's no question about, did I spin the tires in the dyno or whatever. Yep. So
how heavy your wheels are, things like that.
Yeah. No, so these are a really good tool. An expensive tool, but they're a very good tool.
It's needed once you start doing a lot of 4-digit power cars. You know, we're good on the inertia dyno to 1,000, 1,100 wheel.
Yeah.
But even that, you can't load it properly. But anything above that, you just get tire spin, inaccurate readings, and you can't test shift points and things of that nature accurately the way you can here. So, it's
I've been talking to Allison about getting one of these at DynoCon, about getting one of these myself. We have her in-ground dyno at the shop, and it works good. So I can imagine these things probably are great. I spent some time over at Fuel Tech in the last couple of days getting the gray car lined out on their hub dyno, and that's one of the things. I mean, you could take a 4,000 horsepower race car and simulate a run. So very, very valuable tool. And so, you know, you find a shop that has something like this, and you're street racing and you want your car to be competitive, or you're drag racing or whatever you're doing, it's a pretty handy tool that really, in my opinion, will kind of step you above, will kind of get you a head start.
It gives you a finished product above and beyond what another shop's going to be able to do. Absolutely, So.
And a lot of people don't understand, like, that's kind of the difference between maybe you guys and other places, is you're not scared to invest the money in something that's going to help your customers.
Yeah.
And like, you didn't buy this because you thought it was cool. You just wanted to go, hey, I have a hub dyno, because it's too expensive to do that.
No,
you bought it because you want to be able to show these people that this is how much you care about their stuff, is because you want to give them the best product they can have when they leave.
You know as well as I do, this is all reputation based.
It is.
And if you want a good rep, you got to stay in front of the competition.
That's right.
So, you know, everything we do is to try to deliver the fastest, most reliable, enjoyable car you can. And short of taking every car we build to the drag strip, this tool has been invaluable to avoid doing that.
It's awesome.
So that's pretty much it, man. We're right at 12,000 square feet. We've been here since 06.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere anytime in the foreseeable future. And kind of gives you the lay of the land of how we operate.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to show me around. Now, when I talk to you and you tell me what you're doing, you know, because now we kind of become friends, and I text you every now and then, and you're saying, hey, I'm on the hub dyno, I'll know exactly where you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'd like to go out and go fire up my caddy and go take it for a ride.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, does not drive any different than it did before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can take this thing anywhere. Other than it's got an 85 in it, that would be the only thing that limits it, is just where you can get fuel at, you know. And there's not a lot of room where we're doing this out here, so it's like, that all we did was strung out fifth gear in that.
So, you pretty happy with it?
Yeah, man, I like it. It's exactly what I wanted out of it, which is something that I could put Dax in the back seat, Cherish and I, and go on a trip if we wanted to, or go street race it, or go take it to the track, or race it in one of the Daily Driver episodes, you know, that we do or whatever. I mean, there's a couple of those things that a couple of times I think I was working on this and I had to take something else for the Daily Driver episode, but this policeman right here hopefully did not hear any of this stuff.
Right.
Hello, officer. So I can't remember where they put the Holly at in this, but I want to say he said they put it in the glove box. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's the display screen for the Holly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good spot for it. I wouldn't have thought to put it there. Yeah, that's awesome. I like it. So that's the only thing really in the whole car that, like, you never know this thing made 1,100 horsepower.
Yeah,
You know,
until you punch that pedal.
until you get on it. Then you go, oh man, this is different, you know. No, they did a good job, man. That's awesome. I love it. Now,